Rock, Quiver and Bend is a major solo exhibition by Brass Art marking the 25th anniversary of their collaborative practice. The 4 major new commissions in the exhibition create a dialogue with some of the 20th century's most important artists, exploring issues around time, materiality and perception in really beautiful, moving and poetic ways.
Rock, Quiver and Bend is a body of new work, collaborative work, and it includes an animated neon piece, a 2-channel video with immersive sound, a whole group of light boxes and videos, and installation piece as well. And then there's a 4th space, which includes visual research with some insights into our practice, the way that the work's been developed for the exhibition, the processes, hints at some of the performances that we've done and the sites that we've visited, and also a few older works that are particularly important as precursors to the work in the show.
The common threads in the exhibition are around time, perception and thresholds, and we usually make these manifest really through using light-based technologies. So whether that's LiDAR scanning or laser capture, different forms of light and shadow.
The neon piece, it's an animated neon piece. We really wanted to flood the entrance of the space with this pulse of colour. So we just felt that the neon was a really great way of doing that, a way of kind of taking that phrase, which was inspired by Virginia Woolf in Mrs. Dalloway. We're all set in kind of one day, talking about some quite deep themes of kind of life, mortality, the creative process. So we felt it was a good way of introducing people to the space, leading them into the video work, which also, is very strongly connected with Virginia Woolf and her writing and her thinking, and also in the place where she made a lot of her creative work in Rodmell in Monk's House.
In the film, we're using data, 2 forms of data, so both Kinect and LiDAR data, and they're mingled together in a sense to reveal something about Virginia Woolf's writing, but also, more importantly, our place in the world. So the data is a kind of material. We treat it like any other material in our practice. And there's a sense of those 2 kind of different data sets mingling to reveal something about different temporal moments, different frame rates, different modes of capture. We worked with a composer, Annie Matani, and invited her to collaborate with us on that particular piece. And it was really important to think about how sound would reflect the sort of movement through the threshold spaces.
That soundscape affects the whole show, it bounces off the space, and we really wanted something that will just lead people through the whole space, quite experientially, in relation to the sound.
The apparition series we've been working on for quite a long time. It's something we've returned to probably 3 times now, and each time we've brought something slightly more grotesque to it, I think. They started off as photographs and they have now evolved into an additional sort of video series. I think people are drawn to them because they look like quite beautiful Victorian silhouettes at first glance, and it's only when you get closer to them that you start to recognise how grotesque they are, how much we were attempting to distort ourselves. And we have a lot of fun with that in general, trying to make ourselves as metamorphic as possible. And the videos are probably quite a straightforward extension of that, except that we were trying to enact movements that seem unnatural, which is actually quite hard to do. So trying to do very short actions or very, very slow actions. And to see those on the wall with the light boxes was interesting for us because we wanted to have that sense of, is an image moving?
We've used foil blankets in a number of works, so these are all recycled foil blankets. We've used them previously. We've wrapped erratics at Manchester Museum in a performance.
They really relate to our relationship with materiality, but also some of the research that we've been doing into more geological time and things like meteorites and erratic landscapes, where you're looking at a very different sort of perception of time and space. And also then using this material that's a very everyday survival blanket but it can transform into something that seems very much more like a sort of rocky landscape or something much more monumental and solid. But then when you put light inside it, it becomes a transient, semi-transparent material, and started to then experiment with putting lights inside, thinking about coloured lights, thinking about the kind of forms that we could use to create those lights that related to other aspects of our practice. And some of that was to do with, again, museum collections and things that we're interested in from Manchester Museum, where things have been held and almost like in stasis within the stores, and then just ready to be taken out and used in different ways. So through, again, the use of light and light-based scanning, we were able to scan these pieces and then transform them into these coloured forms.
I think one of the key things as artists that we're trying to think about is the sort of fundamental question about what it is to be in the world, what it is to be making art at this time, and how we can articulate that through materials and through processes and through, you know, our collaborative thinking amongst the three of us, but also in collaboration with others.
I think one of the important things in our practice is the idea of bringing things to light and bringing things to life. So that seems to be a sort of mode that works through most of the work we make, whether we're working with data or sculptural materials, or data as sculptural material, or shadow, or any other form of light-based medium. But I think we're trying to explore light in its most profound sense and its relationship to life.
We imagine that the work can be encountered on a number of different levels. So with the mind in quite a philosophical way, with the body through an immersive experience of sound and movement through space, and also visually, it's a feast of colour and light. So it can be encountered just on a visual level as well and experienced in that way.